truth be told, like if you finna be jealous, man, about anything over here, what gonna do what they gonna do anyway. So it's like, if you got that high enough level to where you super jealous and concerned or whatever, you may as well. I don't want to say you may as well not be with them, but tiptoe into that relationship, because if somebody's giving signals that they can't be trusted around the opposite sex, problem's bigger than you anyway.
So the big question is, do you feel jealous if your partner hangs with a friend of the opposite sex?
Absolutely.
That's bullshit.
I ain't having it.
That is such bullshit. Such bullshit.
Well, I know it's a big deal for a lot of people. However, in our relationship, it's never been a thing.
Right.
But I think that's because we built that trust over time. Also, the fact that we have such a strong foundation in our relationship, it's never been a concern. And also, I think I know you at a level that nobody else could. And on top of that, we kind of lazy. Like, to our benefit. Like, ain't nobody trying to get to know nobody else, like, at the level that we know each other.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just not threatening for us. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And, yeah, like, personally, like, I will say, it's not always been that way, though. Okay. It's not always been that way, because, like, back in the day, man, listen, when we was at Hood, when we was at Fort Hood, young bucks in the Army.
Okay. 18,
19 years old. It felt like everybody was shooting their shot. And the crazy part is, at the time, I knew so many people on post, especially dudes, you know, like, because I was always in the clubs, all that other good stuff. And it was so crazy because we spent majority of our time in the barracks until we came out. And so a lot of people didn't even know that we was kicking it the way that we was, you know, back then. And then when you would go out, it would even be like homeboys of mine or whatever who would be trying to holler at you. And we'd be walking around or whatever, and you'll see somebody be like, oh, that dude tried to talk to me. Oh, that dude tried to talk to me. And I'd be like, God damn, bro, like, everybody's shooting their shot. And it used to be like playing around in the back of my head, because of course at the time we just friends.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't that deep at the time between us. However, we had a real close connection. And it was always dancing around in the back of my head like, man, could somebody else take this beautiful queen's attention away from me? Okay. I ain't like that. I ain't like that thought that one bit.
Okay.
Yeah, so I won't lie. I mean, it literally took, I would say it personally, there was probably some jealousy there for up until we got married. Like, probably like...
So marriage just, you're like shut down the jealousy?
Probably like right up in that gap somewhere.
Okay.
Like, I really still had to like grow out of it, but it wasn't, I know, like in those last, like from the time that we decided to be together to the point we got married, I think I was like kind of growing out of it because we had been through so much to where I was like, okay, this girl she's for me.
Right.
She ain't for the streets no more. She's for me.
For the streets no more. Oh, so I was for the streets at some point.
No, I'm messing with you. I'm playing. But nah.
I was not expecting you to say that.
But yeah, man, it was like, I don't know. I guess I probably got like a high sense of security because we had already been through so much. And I was like, you know what, like, I could chill. Yeah. And I was already accepting the warnings that was being put out to me, like, hey, Tron, you know, don't let your insecurities block your blessing over here. Like, hey, you got something good. And so I really had to work on me because I wasn't used to having somebody who was in everybody's eye. But I didn't know, well, I knew you only had eyes for me, but I wasn't sure myself. So again, it took me some time to really grow out of that. Into the ultra confident, secure person I am today, to where that's not really a problem that exists at all. So yeah, it's kind of where I'm at with it.
Nice.
Yeah, but me today, no, not even a little bit.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, like yeah, we in there. We in there, like, and I know you think dudes are gross, so that works in my favor.
Yeah, they're kind of nasty. They're kind of nasty and dirty.
So what about you?
I don't think I've ever felt like jealous of you having like girlfriends, female friends, whatever you want to say. Cause one, I met you and like your closest friends were girls anyway, so it just, I don't know, it just was like a normal thing. And like even now, still most of your friends are girls, and I guess I've never felt like threatened or intimidated because like we would always end up being cool. I never second guess myself and what I do for you, and it's never been a thing. Like I know how dope I am, so I don't think I've ever been.
Not even the slightest.
Yeah, like I'm just like, oh, okay, like, and I mean, even so, a little funny thing I do is, I think you're super dope as a guy, and I like when women experience you, like see how great of a guy you are, because they need to know that it exists. Okay. So I like for women to be like attracted to you as a good person, because they need to see like there's some fucking real good men out here. You know, here's one. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, but I've never been on no like jealousy type shit, because I mean, right. I mean, that explains it. Like, it's just not. Yeah, it's just
the feelings beneath it.
Yeah, like I don't have that feeling. So.
Yeah, man, I'm crazy about you.
I know that, and I know that. So I mean, and you're a very smart man. You were smart enough.
I feel like I'm about to get threatened.
You were like, no.
Even though you starting subtle, I feel like it's leading up to a threatening for my life.
No,
and I don't like it.
I'm just saying you were smart enough to get me when you did. You pursued me the way you were supposed to. You got your act together. You were smart. And I feel like even now with everything we've built together, you're even smarter now, because you know how crazy your wife is. So
it's coming.
I'll just say you are smart and you know what to do and what not to do. And that's just what it is. Because I'm kind of crazy sometimes. But we've never had no issues. In other words, that. But I'm just saying.
That was how she subtly threatens my life.
That is not a threat.
Without verbally saying it.
That's not a threat. We're being recorded right now.
It's not a threat. It's a guarantee. It's a promise. Duly noted.
Anyway, so back to the topic at hand. I've never felt like jealousy or anything.
And I do think that a lot of that has to do with the way, our relationship formed, because I know, man, I had my boys, and like you said, it was always like women around or whatever, but man, like ain't nobody ever had my attention the way that you do. So that's always been a plus. Mm-hmm. And like you said, man, I know what I got. So but to flip on that though, why is it that you think a lot of people deal with jealousy in their relationships?
Past hurt, past trauma, and bringing it into the relationship is a common into their current relationship that's a common thing. Like bringing past stuff from a previous relationship and bringing it forward to a current. I think that's like a very common thing. Not fully healing from what happened in the previous relationship, and then assuming that the other that your new partner is going to do the same thing that the last partner did. So having that internal conflict is like, dang, like is he or she going to do me like they did?
Yeah. And I hear that all the time.
Yeah.
So especially from fellas, and I know women do the same thing. It's like, you think that just because this happened in a past relationship, or especially if there's, I don't want to say consistencies, but if you've had the same thing happen with multiple men in a row, then somewhere in your mind is like, okay, well, you start to expect that in the next one and all the ones to come, and the same thing for women. And unfortunately, everybody that you experience thereon after has to deal with that. And it's because like now, even if the person doesn't know it, they're starting to shape a character trait, a habit, and a belief pattern about the opposite sex. And it's like sometimes you may want to believe that all of them aren't like that, but you wanting to believe that and you acting like you know that and genuinely believing it is two totally different things.
Yeah, especially if you have like so much like evidence to show that it keeps happening to me. It keeps happening to me. So yeah, you gotta heal from that stuff, or at least start the journey of that. Because I don't think fully like healed is like a destination type thing. I think it's like a journey, because sometimes you don't know when some shit is gonna trigger you, and you like shit. He did this shit that this dude did, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't realize I was still hurt from that stuff.
Right.
And it's like, no, dude, you gotta get tested. You gotta get tested to see if you're fully like over that type of stuff, or see how you'll react in a situation to grow.
Yeah.
You know?
So this is something that I did when earlier on, I don't know if it was like after we got together, after we was married. Okay. I can't remember. Okay. But something I was very adamant about, because about that like presence of jealousy, right? Okay. Something that I heavily believe in is karma. Like, man, if you're one of those dudes, you know, where you dog women and you treat them like this or whatever, and eventually you end up finding the chick that you crazy about, 9 times out of 10, it's finna come with a level of hell that you are not capable of dealing with. And I did not want that on me. Granted, I ain't never been the type of dude to like dog anybody or dog a woman. Like, that's never been me. But I was like, man, not even just like women, but relationships in general. I was actively pursuing like, who is anybody that I've had a problem with before? Who is anybody that I've, you know, may have wronged or anything? I wanted to fix all of those things, apologize, clear my conscience, whatever. Granted, the list wasn't long, so that was, you know, beneficial to me or whatever, right? But I wanted to make sure thoroughly that I took care of all of those previous relationships or unintentional hurt that I might have caused or anything, because I did not want that. I didn't even want the presence of that to potentially show up in our relationship, and I didn't want to deal with the karma there. So I wanted to clear the slate. So anybody I was on the phones, looking them up on Facebook. Did I ever tell you that? Yeah, I did this for like a month straight. I was trying to I was hunting people down. Anybody I could think of that I had it. And we probably could have already got past it, but if I thought about it, something was still there. Right. And I was pursuing people for like a month straight.
That is amazing.
Trying to clear the air.
That is amazing.
I did not want that karma or that seed lingering around in the air to come back and haunt me. Wow. And I did that for like a month straight. Aggressively pursuing people. Like, and so because I've seen it so many different times where I have a homeboy or whatever, and you know, he out here doing his thing. Dogging people, dogging women, unfortunately. And then the brother finds somebody who he's crazy about it. Next thing you know, break his heart. Yeah. And I'm like, bruh, did you not see this coming? Like, do you think that you was gonna go over here and do all of this crap and it not come back to haunt you?
And I be thinking about, like, if it don't come back to get you, it might come for your babies. You know what I'm saying? It got to come back at some point, some kind of way. And I'm like, nah, let me see how I can block this. Yeah. You know?
And so, in that spirit of jealousy or whatever, a lot of the time it's because you're expecting it. Because you feel like you got it coming anyway. Like, you may not say it, but you feel like you got whatever that is coming to a certain degree. And that haunts people and make them react in the present for something that may or may not happen.
Projecting.
Exactly. And they're expecting it. And so now the person you with can't even get to fool you, because they don't even know that you got this seed buried up off in you, because you're expecting the hurt or you're expecting the person to do something. And again, that may not even come from them. Who knows?
Right.
But now it puts you in a path of, or a pattern of self-sabotage.
So do you think it's important to talk about past relationships and past hurt of relationships?
100%.
You do?
Like, and I don't want to necessarily say that I think it's important that you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's discussed, like, because you don't want to be judging somebody based off of something that they went through before in their previous relationships. Because who knows what their process was to get to you. You know what I'm saying? Right. But I think the person individually needs to deal with their past. You need to deal with that. Right. Because if you haven't made peace with that, it's going to show up in your future. Right. There's no way that you can sit there and expect that everything that you swept under the rug or everything that was impacting you all that time back then is not going to show up here. Either if you triggered, you see similar patterns or experiences or something. The karma of that is coming. Like, you don't just sweep that stuff away and think that everything's going to be cool. One way or another, you're going to have to deal with it. And I think a lot of people don't think about that when they're doing their dirt. Yeah. And sometimes in the moment, people don't care. Yeah. Until their heart is on the line. Yeah. That's just my thoughts about it, though. Right. So
we just went down a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah, but it's still all jealousy though, because there's so many reasons as to why people are like that. From, like you said, dealing with past trauma, previous life experiences, whatever.
Even own insecurities.
Exactly. So you really have to take all of that stuff into consideration because it's an internal problem. Like nobody can fix that for you. You got to do the personal internal work to overcome those things. Because otherwise, you on a path of freaking self-sabotage, destruction, and bad relationships because you're going to always be pinning some old stuff on the person that you're currently with. And they're basically going to be collateral damage for everything that you did before.
Right. That's why self-awareness is very, very important because if you don't know it's a problem, then you don't know it's a problem. Mm-hmm. You're not looking for a solution if you don't realize it's a problem. So It's very important to, really do some inner work to figure out like, okay, well, why am I reacting like this? Why my fist always up? Mm-hmm. Why am I always guarded? Why I always got these walls, In any relationship, it don't even gotta be marriage or a romantic relationship. Right. In any relationship, why am I always like this? And really doing that inner work and trying to figure it out and solving those problems because you don't want that shit to pour over because you blocking your own blessings. Like you could have Mr. Right or Miss Right in front of you, but like you always talk about, you don't want to fumble that shit because you ain't got yourself together yet.
100%.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people even like pay attention to that. Because I've told you, man, like even recently, I've been to events and I've been in environments and people will, kind of fall back, like women will fall back up off me and stuff like that. They were like, oh, I don't want to, send the wrong signal to your wife, or I just wanted to say, some of the game that you put on Facebook is cool, or that it's helped me, or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, find some level of approach just to show love, but to do it kind of with a stiff arm because it's like, I don't want to offend her. And I'm like, did I?
Right, yeah.
I come off like that or whatever. Like, I didn't even say it. Like, I'm a hugger. Like, hey, how you doing? What's good, man? But so, and then to see, like, people, like, react like that, I'm like, damn, you've been hurt. Like, you've been hurt. Or you done been put in a situation
an uncomfortable situation, yeah.
You done been put in some situations to where, like, that's solid on you. And
what's super funny, it makes me think of these moments where, like, I'll have, like, lady friends or whatever. They'll be like, oh, can you ask your husband or blah, blah, blah. No. Am I his secretary? You ask him. You better DM him. I'm not going to ask him. I'm his damn secretary. If you want to do business with him, do business with him. Like, it ain't got shit to do with me. You know what I'm saying? But I know, like, sometimes people don't know how to approach, like, married people like that. They don't really realize how we function. And I understand it. It's all out of respect. So, and I get that. Right. But for me, I'm like, do I look like his secretary? You better DM him because, no, I'm not going to tell him.
Because it's like we could be like that, but then you try it with another, and it'd be a whole nother issue.
And I totally understand that. So I know people would rather be on the cautious side.
Tread lightly.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, man. But it sucks though because it's like you get it makes you very aware of the hurt and the trauma and some of the stresses that people carry with them. And yeah, man, like it even in a moment like this, it seeps over into your professional life and all of these other areas. And now you don't even know that you're treating people of the opposite sex oddly because of another experience you've had before. So it goes even deeper than your intimate or your personal relationship.
True.
And you don't even know how you're coming off.
Very
because I'm like, even for me to see how a woman would react just because they're afraid of how you might react to them speaking to me, I'm like, now I'm over here looking at you like, I don't know. I get it, it's respectful, but now I feel odd.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I get you kind of like just making sure that everything is cool. But it's like, damn, because now all I'm thinking about, like, you
made it awkward.
Like, you
really
like
weird.
you hurt, man.
Yeah.
You damaged, you carrying
weird.
some stuff. And like now I'm over here looking at you like, oh, you know what I mean? And I ain't gonna say that's probably not a good thing, but it's honestly what I be thinking. Like, damn, somebody really messed you up. But yeah, man, I'm glad we ain't got that.
Yeah.
But hey, I think we put in, some pretty good work over the past years to make sure that those things aren't there.
Yeah, on a personal level though, like if we're not good individually, then our marriage is not going to thrive. Like it's just that's just how it works. If we didn't do that internal work, I don't think we would have made it this far.
Yeah.
Honestly, because of the stuff that we have went through individually.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got to do that internal work, man. Personal growth is necessary.
And on a real simple note, truth be told, like if you finna be jealous, man, about anything over here, I'm not gonna do what they're gonna do anyway. So it's like, if you got that high enough level to where you super jealous and concerned or whatever, you may as well. I don't want to say you may as well not be with them, but tiptoe into that relationship, because if somebody's giving signals that they can't be trusted around the opposite sex, problem's bigger than you anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like that problem is bigger than you.
Right.
And that may not be something that you signed up for, or something that you just might want to be cautious and aware of. Because if you can't trust them like that, then that problem's not going to go away easily.
Because women are going to be everywhere and men are going to be everywhere. Like there's no way to keep.
You can't.
Yeah,
you
there's
can't
nothing
stop
you
a
can
woman,
do.
because some ain't going to care what you got going on.
Right.
There's going to be some women, some men out there. They don't care what your status is. They coming.
That's so real. Like that's how it is. Like they don't care about these men don't care about no ring. Trust.
Yeah.
I flash my ring. I be like this.
Yeah. Like
they don't care.
People out there that don't care.
But people ain't supposed to care about your marriage more than you care about your marriage or your relationship.
Exactly.
Like, why should they shouldn't care. No, this ain't for you to worry about. Like, I need to worry about me and mine.
Right.
So long as I'm good and we solid, that's straight. Like, you can approach me all you want to, you're gonna get your feelings hurt, but that's just what it is. You know what I'm saying?
And even thinking like that, like if you're giving off that clear, noticeable feeling of jealousy, you don't even know that you're pushing your partner away anyway. Because now in the back of their mind, they feel like you can't trust them and stuff like that. Like they got that, like it's going to form maybe a silent form of like resentment and uneasiness and all of this stuff. And you don't even know, like if there's something that you're dealing with at that level, that's something you got to deal with personally. And if they've given off signs that they can't be trusted at that level, boss, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like personally, like, if jealousy is consuming a relationship at that level, like, again, that's you got to do some internal work, or make sure that you're with somebody who is willing to grow through that process with you.
Yeah.
Because, again, like I told you in the beginning, I had some issues or whatever, but I really worked on myself because I knew it was an issue. And it was an issue that I had that I wanted to fix. And fortunately enough, he was patient with me. And I can't say that a lot of people are that conscious and aware, but it's definitely something that you have to consider.